Unmute me. Okay, so making a function, I'm going to show the part about how a function is created in W3 Schools. Okay, we'll talk about how the grades can be read in, and then how you work out and display that grade. Okay, that's one task in itself, making the function work. Okay, the next thing is have a meaningful introductory message. So I'm like, hello, teacher, please enter your grades below. It will say you'll ask for 5 percentages to be given in 5 separate boxes. So you've got to make a HTML form. Yeah, a simple HTML form. And that form has got input boxes on it. I should put one percentage grade in per line. And only when that's completely done properly, do you then submit that grade. Yeah. Now that checking of the grade being in the boundary of between 0 and 100 is actually done not in PHP, but in HTML. Yeah, to simplify things. Yeah, to really simplify things. And all the PHP is really taken care of is the function, okay, taking the results in and echoing back your answer. Okay, that's the most efficient way of doing it. So we're going to pull together a few different things. Now that's the pass grade. Now for the merit and distinction, here we're looking at more complexity here. We're going to ask you to enable the user to input the grade for different subjects. What comes back is not just simply only the average, but also the grade students get for the percentages. So if I scored 55%, I get a grade corresponding. If I get 0, I get 5%, I get a grade corresponding. I also get an average grade, and that is done based on this bottom bit here called code challenge. Okay, so what we've got is a basic program form, taking the values, return back the average, part 1, then the extension is giving back the percentages in a little nice little table, and also the grades and what the overall average percentage is and what that grade would be to. Okay, this is like a mathematical calculation going on here. Right, now a few things to recap that go with this. Okay, one is functions. Whoops, let's go up here. PHP and functions. So here we go. Let's talk about functions. So what a function is, a block of statements that can be used repeatedly in a program. Anything in a program you find you're going to be doing a repetition on. For experience in typing here, can I just have some silence please for a bit? This bit's quite core to task 3. I can't keep repeating it. Yeah. Right. Thanks. Right. So we can create our own functions in PHP. A block of statements that can be used repeatedly in a program. Okay, when a page loads, it doesn't get immediately called a function. It's only called when you call it. Okay, so if a page loads up, it might be 50 functions in there. They're not going to do nothing unless you actually call the function, which is done in the main part of the program. Now, all programming languages, Java, Python, PHP, C, all work in the same way. You declare your functions as blocks, but in your main part of the program, we call that main, yeah? In the main part of the program, where we do the function calls, that's what actually calls the function, and then you run that function. It's quite an efficient way of coding, really. Otherwise, you just have jumbles of stuff all over the place, which you don't even need half of, right? So really, it's about making functions and getting organization. Here's a syntax for a function. Function, function name, code to be executed, close brackets. Look at the little brackets there. Don't forget the brackets there. Here's a very simple function, looks like this. Call the function, write message. Function arguments. This is now passing a function through with an argument. That means I can give a function a variable. This is a function by itself, right? Function called write message, echo hello world. And then to call the function in main is down here. This is how you call a function. This is the main part of the program here. Write message, which then calls this, which then executes that. Yeah, quite straightforward. Now, what you can do with functions really useful is you can chuck in these brackets some variables. You can give it numbers or strings or text, and that means the function can do something with that and have some output on it. So this idea of input, process, output, the function is the process. The inputs go into between the brackets, and the output is this like echo here. It's doing that. Yeah, that's the principle of functions. Here's an example of functions taking what we call arguments, which are variables inside the brackets. Watch this. Function family name, brackets, $f_name. Echo, $f_name, weird word, refness, just like a surname, dot. Okay. There's your function there. If I call that function from here, family name, and the word Janny's coming in here, that Janny's being pushed into fname. Okay, so what you see is what? What's the output going to look like? And then after that,
oh, then it will break, line break, and it'll be,
great. That's correct, Taylor. Anyone? Yeah, please. Why is it not in quotes? Yeah, because when you do an echo, whenever you want to echo to the screen, you put between in string parentheses, you like little quotes around it. So if I put reference in it, it's just saying this is a string I'm outputting to the front. Because I'm doing dollar first here, echo is able to pick up the variable name from here. Yeah, whatever's been passed into it. Janny was passed in, right? It'll echo Janny. Reference is already part of the string anyway because it's between the quotes, and even the BR's HTML tag, it will echo that as well. Because it's going to a web browser, it does a break tag. The web browser thinks, oh, hello HTML, let me just do the stuff with you. If you do that, it breaks up, it does cause problems. If you are ever going to do it, you must remember to use that little dot thing, the concatenation command, to join strings together. Otherwise, you'll break them apart. Yeah, you'll get confused by that. So if you're using string, use concatenation to break it apart. Yeah. Okay, good. So that's how you. That's correct, Taylor. That is the output you are going to get. Okay, great. Moving on. What if we give it 2 arguments? You put a comma and you put a $year in here too. So $fname Rasmus dot born in $year BR tag. You can imagine the output's going to be. Yeah, same thing with born in the year as well, right? So that's how we're getting functions. Now my task 3 is asking you to take in grades, 5 grades, yeah, and give an average on it. So would it not make sense, therefore, to have function, grade average, and what's going to be here? Yeah, $A, $B, $C, $E, and then down the bottom when you call that function grade average, you give it the values, the percentage values, yeah. So when we first start coding it, we're going to code it without anything coming from the input. It's just going to be preset, like this to begin with. It's our first version of the program. Simple function like that. Yeah. Okay. Easy way of doing it. So I'm going to try and find you a mathematical example now. Then you're going to work on that little function, task 3. Default argument value. Okay. This is only used if we use this, by the way, if you've not given any values at all. So you're not given any values, what's the backup going to be? You've got to give it something, right? So for default value, this is one for height, for example. This has a minimum, a variable called min height equals 50. If you ever say something like that in the brackets, you're saying that if you're not given any value, it will fall back onto that. Okay, it's like a default value. So like, you know, even if say it was for a grade, they were given junk, right? Whatever, it would put it as 0. Okay, if nothing came in, it would put it as a 0. Now, how do you return values back? This is the last example now before you make your function. How do you return a value using a return statement? So if you're making this just a sum, it's not an average. I want you to work out average yourself. If you're doing a sum, function sum, $x, $y, bracket, and $z is equal to $x and $y, and then return $z. Okay, then what this is going to do is show you back the answers, okay, based on this function called sum, 5, 10, and then it will output that value as z. What happens is you're giving it 2 values, but it's returning something. When the function returns back, it will push that value back out of the function to the front end. Yeah, so you're giving it 2 values. What's coming back is 1 value. So if I call that function sum with 2 values, I get back only z as my answer. Okay, so what do you expect is going to happen on the 3rd line there? I'm going to ask 2 people randomly. What's happen on that 3rd line? Echo 2 plus 4 equals sum 2, 4. What will be the output of that?
I want to say 6, but it's too easy.
It is.
It is 6.
Yeah. It is 6.
I mean, that's obvious from the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is the sum, comma, 2 times?
What is that?
The last one.
X and Y variable.
Basically,
Yeah, basically the first number is assigned to x.
The coordination sum to the.
These dots are allowing you to just join together the values. Yeah, just trying to say 5 plus, it's just making it for user friendly. 5 plus 10 equals sum 5 comma 10.
So basically, it's
Like
not, it's going to be the same. Take the 2 plus 4, and you just put the sum. That will be the same.
The actual function is this. That's what's doing the work. That's just me echoing out. Me just giving the user some information saying, hey, I'm telling you already what the answers
So
are.
you don't really need those. You didn't need those.
No, not at all. The real reality is really this sum business.
Because you already stated on top there that's going to be.
Indeed.
Yeah.
So you're going to make a function yourselves, okay, folks? We'll do the first part of that task 3 now, yeah, and work on that, and then we'll go to the next stage thereafter. Okay. So I think this has been very clear, what I can see in doing this. And function, you're going to make your first function to stop there, and leaving it on the screen. It says create a function, work out grade average, read in your grades, and work out and display the average grade. So just predefine the grades to begin with. Make them up yourself, yeah? When you call the function, just stick in 5 numbers, yeah? And then just work it out on that. And then we're going to get those numbers from user input afterwards.